Hi, I'm just making this video in answer to a question that my friend Jim asked me after viewing my last video, which was the one on uh, an impression of my path. And the question was, how does your household religion fit into the community as a whole, not just the Wiccan, Bear and gay communities, but the whole UK world community? What piece of the pie are you and Phil? Which is a really nice question. Um, I think in terms of paganism, we sort of pretty much fit into the eclectic part of it, really, um, and we're just two amongst an enormous number of individuals with very varied paths that um, harmonize pretty well, really. We've often found that we've had a lot in common with other witches we've met, and we've had a lot in common with a lot of heathens we've met. Um, we're just really part of the whole mix in that sense. Um, though we probably don't fit into some of the stereotypes you'd think of, when you think of as witches, um, or indeed as pagans. That's just how it goes, really. In terms of the gay and bear communities, um, the gay world has always had to just take me as I am, otherwise I really wasn't going to particularly be there. I've never been very good at performing or trying to be something that I'm not. So uh, really, with most social things that we would take part in, there's never very much of a separation between things. So the bear and the gay and the pagan have all been pretty much mixed together, just as however they happen to be. Um, Now, in terms of the UK and the world community, in terms of our household religion and where that comes with things, um, socially we just basically never hide the fact that we're witches. We never hide the fact that we're pagan. It's always pretty much there, but just incidental, and people either get to know about it or else they just pass over it, and and that's pretty much how it goes. It's just one of those things, really. It's just another part of the mix socially. Um, in terms of how I feel about being part of a religion, I very much think of it as a personal religion, and what I'm interested in is individual spirituality. Um, I'm not in any sense interested in religious rights, and in that sense, I'm very much a secularist. I believe in human rights, not in religious rights, because religious rights always end up as religious privileges, and that's not a good idea at all, as far as I can see. Um, so we are just part of a uh, big kaleidoscope of personal spiritualities and individual spiritualities, and that could range from all sorts of things, across all sorts of things. Um, and I don't believe that somebody who bands together with other people in an organized religion or in a big tribe or anything um, should have any more or less consideration than somebody who is just doing what their individuality tells them to do and trying to find their own personal way through things. Um, so um, I think a lot of our ideas of religion need to be dissolved, really, truthfully. They need to really be dissolved, and it needs to be completely divorced from a sense of political power or things like that. Um, and I'd see us as being part of a very varied and broad tapestry of human spirituality, and of human subcultures as well. Uh, and that's what I'd like to see taken seriously. I'd like to see taken seriously the enormous diversity of individual spirituality that there is, and people have many different takes on things, and that they identify as they wish to, as adults, and That's really how I think of religion. I know it's not how other people think of religion entirely, and it's certainly not how some religions like to think of religion. Uh, but I can't really get into this whole thing of, oh, how are we going to be taken seriously as religions? My answer to that is that I think it's much better if no religions are actually taken seriously, but we take people seriously and we take human beings seriously, and uh, we take their human rights seriously. So that's what I'd say to that. I think large hierarchical uh, dominating religions that count on various sorts of power and privilege are really yesterday's news, and we should be getting rid of all of that stuff, essentially. Um, and when you get rid of that stuff, we're all just doing our own things, essentially. We may do it in a relationship with other people because we're a very interdependent and relational species. Yeah, it's a big part of us. So I very much believe in individuality, but I also believe in interdependence and interrelationship because it's so much of what we are and what makes us what we are. But I don't like to see that somehow shackled and distorted by uh, religious power relationships and identities. So they can all go out as far as I'm concerned, and the individual can come in community, and you know, as I'm concerned, let's all have a party. That's my and that's my piece of the pie. I think really, it's it's uh, it's essentially that. Let's all get together if we want to, but let's do it freely, and nobody excluded, nobody with any special place, other than what we choose to freely give people and each other. But I really believe in equality in that sense. I hope that makes sense anyway, and I think that would probably be my answer. So thanks very much for the question, Jim, and I hope you found that interesting, and look forward to any other questions.